Hello everyone, it's Laffy Traffy. We hit 500 subscribers! Yay! I want to say thank you to everyone, all the new subscribers, but especially the ones who've been here since 100 subscriber videos. We'll get to 1,000 soon. But I wanted to take the time to make a little celebratory video because I did a top 10 favorite characters for my 100 subscriber special. So for 500 subscribers, I wanted to do a similar video for my 500 subscribers, a similar video where we'll do a top 10 of my personal preferences. Like I mentioned before, spoiler alert, 1,000 subscribers will probably be top 10 girls. Top 10 best girls, let's be clear. Top 10 best girls. But so I had some video ideas in mind for my celebration of 500 subscribers, what my top 10 list would be, but I went onto Twitter and asked what your thoughts were on any particular top 10s that you would want to see. And I ended up going with shout out to John on Twitter for suggesting top 10 devil fruits that I would eat if given the chance. So we're gonna go with that one because it's something that I haven't really thought about. I know my favorite, if you don't already know, I've mentioned it briefly before. I've never really thought about like a top 10 best devil fruits or devil fruits that I would eat, so it was a lot of fun kind of diving into what I like versus what's really strong and, you know, what I would eat if I was in the One Piece world and things like that, so it was really fun to explore the different options here. By the way, make sure you follow me on Twitter if you want a chance to be part of a future video or have recommendations and just talk about One Piece anime and gaming content in general. Go follow me on there. And Twitch! And also I just wanted to let everyone know that anime onlys are welcome to watch this. I won't have any spoilers for the manga in this video, so as long as you're caught up to the anime, feel free to keep watching. I've rearranged a few more times, a top 10 list in order of devil fruits that I would want to eat for my 500 subscriber special here. Before we get into it though, I want two disclaimers to be clear here. The first one, most important one, is I am not ranking the devil fruits by power or usability or their users, anything like that. This isn't any power agenda, because then, you know, I would just choose like Whitebeard's fruit, Fujitoro's fruit, all the Logias. So I tried to make it a little bit more interesting on if I was in the One Piece world, what would I choose? Which leads me to my second disclaimer is I kind of went back and forth on how I was going to approach this, but I ended up going with if I was isekai'd or just lived in the One Piece world, what fruits would I want? If you're interested in what powers I would choose for my life, my mundane life here as we know it today, stick around to the end of the video and I go through some of those choices in particular. Now, without further ado, let's get into the top 10 list. Number 10, the barrier fruit, or the Bari Bari no Mi, used by our beloved Bartolomeo. I was super interested in this devil fruit when it was first introduced in the Colosseum, where he was seemingly invincible, and he basically was, and he was just able to, just by doing this, as long as you did this, that was the catch, you know, if someone takes your fingers off or something, then you are basically invincible. The thing that really turns me on to this devil fruit is that you can control its shape, so it's not just a shield, a one-directional shield, even like all-directional shield. You can form it into many different tools, like stairs that he was using it to completely cover himself. He used it in a lot of innovative ways, and if you can control the barrier to be any shape that you want, you can potentially even have it as a weapon. Like if you just make it a sword and you grab it, can you move it? You could probably move it, but regardless, there are many options with the barrier fruit, and it's pretty high on defense, if not the most defensive fruit, because haki doesn't matter. So that's why that is one of my top choices. Number 9 is the string fruit, or the Ito no Mi, used by the notorious Don Quixote do Flamengo. And if we're talking in terms of users who have used their fruit to its full ability, Doflamingo is definitely up there. Not only because he was awakened with the fruit, which is super useful with his fruit specifically, but also just in all the various ways that he used it, from the bird cage to stitching up his organs, which I still call bullshit on that, but even without that, you can create clones of yourself, you can control other people, and you can fly. A devil fruit that allows the user to fly in one way or another pushes up its ranking in my choice, because flying is just cool, and I don't care how you do it. If you can fly, I think you're above the rest of them. So you'll see a theme with that. But yeah, the string fruit is just super powerful. It can cut like a razor blade or restrain people. Like, the possibilities for this fruit are endless. Number 8, the brush fruit, or the Fude no Mi. This is Kanjuro's devil fruit, which I can openly disdain now, because even anime onlys are caught up to the point where he is a traitor. But when we first were introduced to this devil fruit, he wasn't the best user at it because he couldn't paint very well, he wasn't a very good artist, and it was kind of just a joke. But even with being a bad artist, he was still able to create creatures for them to climb up to Zoe, fly around through Just Rosa. There were a lot of things that, even being a bad artist, he was able to create. Now, I don't think that he uses this fruit in its entirety. Even now that we've learned that he's actually a really good artist and can make really awesome creatures, he still only really uses it to conjure animals to assist him, which is fine. You know, you can fly around, again, flying. You can climb hard places, you can do a lot with it, but I really feel like the potential for this fruit is enormous, because if you want to fly, you don't have to make a bird. What if you just made wings for yourself? You just draw big wings and put them on. And it's rain-proof! We saw him drawing in rain. Rain doesn't wash away the paint. So the drawings themselves are pretty powerful in itself. I guess if it gets cut and stuff, it's kind of just like paper, so. But utility-wise, out the wazoo. Now, I enjoy drawing. I'm not the best at drawing and painting, but I consider it a hobby and I enjoy doing it, and I do it a lot. I've been doing it for a long time, so I feel like I would have a lot of fun with this devil fruit, creating different things as quick as you can draw. And I feel like you would practice a lot and get good at it throughout the years of having the devil fruit. You can like make a quick escape, you know, get up somewhere. Basically any item that you could possibly want, you could have. So just the versatility of this fruit is what has it on my top 10 list. Number 7, the arms fruit, or the Buki no Mi. This is used by Baby 5, and I love Baby 5 so much. But her devil fruit especially is amazing. In my isekai fantasy world of being put into the One Piece world, I would probably just be a bounty hunter, if not like a revolutionary. So I feel like having a full arsenal on your body at all times, like if you get captured, your finger's a knife to get out of it. Pretty much as long as you have your devil fruit, you are fully armed. She even makes nukes, which is, you know, the offensive capabilities of this fruit is definitely high as well, because it is damaging. But I just like, again, I'm much more into versatility over pure power. That's why, spoiler alert, Whitebeard's fruit's not on here, just because it's just pure power and there's not a lot of versatility with it. I wouldn't be one to go for full brunt force damage power. I would be more, you know, strategic fighting. So all of these fruits are kind of enhancing that style. But the Buki no Mi for sure would be amazing to have in the One Piece world, because plus you don't have to buy guns. Like, you know how much money Zoro pays for his swords? Now you just have swords. Your arms are just swords. You're like Mr. One from Alabasta, where he just can make his body swords. You can also do that, but also make you into guns, and even if you explode with how she was nuking herself, she came back, so it doesn't even hurt yourself to explode. You can just create bombs and you'll be fine as a person. So this fruit offers a lot to the table here. Number 6, the Gum fruit, or the Gumu no Mi. This one's a little more obscure, you know, I don't know if you've heard of it. The user doesn't really pop up that often. It's just Luffy's fruit. So, you know, if you've heard of it, then good for you. But I love this devil fruit. This fruit is super versatile once again. And even without Luffy's transformations into Gear 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, this devil fruit still has a lot of options of fighting and defensive capabilities. It's very well rounded in my opinion, because you're bulletproof, and basically all blunt force doesn't affect you. You are still susceptible to slashing damage, so that's whatever, but learn hockey and you'll be fine. But the Gum Gum fruit is just super cool because it also has reach, which I really like, long distance fighting. So just being able to stretch out and hit opponents from far away and then be able to escape too, because you can reach up to higher places, slingshot yourself, and then you can fall. 0 fall damage. If I know my video games, I like no fall damage. You can just jump off wherever you want. You can do UFO, so you can fly. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of World Seeker, and one of the best abilities is slingshotting yourself around and then going UFO, so you can hover and float around, so it's on my mind. But the fruit really is really useful in almost every situation, as we've seen once or twice throughout the series. And then if you can master the transformations, then you also have pretty good offensive power. So that would be super cool. My favorite would be Snake Man for sure, because just super fast, and that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I don't really need to say more about this fruit. You know why it's good. I know why it's good. Here it is, number 6. Now number 5, the Gravity Fruit, or the Zushi no Mi. This fruit is used by Fujitora, one of the admirals. Now this was one of my choices when it came to just pure raw power, because who doesn't want to summon a meteor from the sky and crash it upon your opponents? Not me! And I just think that the area of effect abilities of this gravity fruit is super cool, because you can be standing in the middle. I don't know if I would use a sword, but he uses a sword to control it, but I'm sure there's other ways to do so. But you can just stand in the middle and just enhance the gravity or reverse the gravity. He didn't really do that. He did a black hole, which also you can create a black hole because you have the power of gravity. Pretty broken there. I know he didn't do, like, technically a black hole because then everything would be eviscerated, but you get my point. But he reversed gravity at the end of Dressrosa, but he never really used it on any opponents. Maybe he used it on Luffy, that I just wasn't remembering. But he often magnifies gravity, which is also a pretty good spell. But I prefer the higher level spell, Reverse Gravity. It's 7th level for a reason, because you just can shoot people up in the air. They can't do anything. If they can't fly themselves, they are stuck up there. And then you can just shoot them up, then they come back down. Shoot them up. Imagine if you're in an enclosed space. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. I just love the gravity fruit because of just the idea behind it. It's super cool to be able to control gravity. And you can also fly, because we saw Fujitora can fly. He puts himself on a rock when he flies, but I bet that you can just reverse gravity on yourself, or reduce gravity, create 0 gravity. You can just take out the gravity of areas, and how do you fight in that? I just love this fruit a lot, and when he first used it, it was kind of badass. But I choose this as my number 5. Number 4, the Flame fruit, or the Mera no Mi. Of the Logias, there's definitely a bit of bias when it comes to me picking the Flame fruit, but not only is it because of Sabo and Ace, but fire in general across media is often depicted as a very powerful ability, and I love the fire abilities as well. If I was going for pure power, I know that the Magma fruit is kind of like the better version of the Mera no Mi, but I'm not really wanting to deal with magma all the time. I'm perfectly comfortable with a fire fruit. This is my first Logia on the list, but not my last. And when you're talking about Logias, a lot of them are very similar. Like I could have chosen the Plume fruit for Smoker. The Swamp fruit has some capabilities where you can also hold on to things, so that was cool. But when it comes to elemental powers, I've always been partial to fire versus ice, because I'm always cold and I want to be warm. Let's be clear, that's pretty much it. Ice powers are cool, but I want to be warm. Would making you ice immune to the cold? Maybe I'm choosing wrong. Oh well, I choose fire, because not only is there extreme destructive power with the fire fruit, but also a decent amount of versatility. Ace used it in a lot of different ways. The Fireflies was one of my favorites, how he just like kind of centered the flames and the heat into little bits, and when they contacted the enemy, they burst. That was pretty cool. The flame pillar. There's a lot of really nice moves that Sabo and Ace have used with the flame fruit. But also, if you're in the One Piece world and if you're not a super famous pirate, the flame fruit is just useful to live. Imagine you're stuck on an island, you know, the One Piece world is full of water and islands. So imagine if you're stuck on a deserted island, like Ace was coincidentally. Imagine the ability to just conjure fire. You can make campfires, keep yourself warm, cook, like there's a lot of survivability with the flame fruit. And you can fly. Again, you can fly with the flame fruit. So that's why I choose this one. Plus, realistically, if given the choice, if I was in the One Piece world, I would probably choose any Logia pretty much over a lot of the other devil fruits. But I wanted to be a little bit more creative with this. So I chose the flame fruit though because it is a Logia, and if you have a Logia in the One Piece world, if you just stay at one of the seas, if you don't even go to the Grand Line, let alone the New World, you're basically actually invincible as a Logia user. So that also goes into it, and like I said, if we were going for pure power and pure usefulness, a lot of the Logias would be on this list, but I decided to not go with that and get a little bit more creative, so flame fruit is one of 2 Logias that are on this list. Number 3, the flower fruit, or the Hana no Mi. This fruit used by beautiful Robin, amazing Robin. Last chapters, you know, no spoilers, but last chapters fresh on my mind. Robin uses this fruit so beautifully and so amazingly, but in general, the fruit itself is super powerful and super useful. The ability to grapple opponents, to restrain them, to disarm them, to enhance your own fighting ability as well, and then she even learned to make huge versions of her limbs. You can even create a version of yourself as a clone where she could do espionage, and you know, although that wouldn't be my flavor of tackling the world, I still think that creating clones of yourself and everything that the flower fruit can do is amazing. Also, I'll spoil it now, the flower fruit is my number 1 choice for if I was to have a fruit in the real world, because let's be honest, I'm lazy. Imagine being able to pick up anything around you. I'll get into it more, but even in the One Piece world, the same is true, where we saw Robin doing dishes when she was younger, which is very sad, but damn, did she do it efficiently. She had a whole line, washing, drying, putting them away. I would do a lot more chores. It's pretty useful just for day-to-day activities. You can man the whole ship by yourself, unfurl the sails, steer, just things. You basically have a huge army of yourself. Get it? Army. It's very offensive, but it's also very defensive, like I was stating earlier, where you can grapple people if someone's coming at you with a gun real quick, or at least point it elsewhere, grapple them, restrain them, break their arm, god. And then mix this with armament hockey. You can grab Logias wherever they are, flying, not. You can also fly with the Hana no Mi. You can create wings. They would probably be absolutely horrifying, but you could do it. Luckily in the anime we don't get the actual representation of what Robin is doing when she makes her giant legs or the wings, because probably would take some getting used to seeing a bunch of arms just flapping everywhere. But besides that, this fruit is super useful and it's a personal favorite of mine, and one that I would for sure want in real life, because yes. Number 2, the glint fruit, or the Pika no Mi. Used by Kizaru very efficiently, this is my other Logia choice that if I had to choose, I would choose this one, because of all the Logias, this one has always stood out to me as being very overpowered. It's one thing to create elements and control them and shoot it at people, but you know, if you're the flame fruit user, you're just flame. Like, you can't really do anything special. You can fly, you can, you know, you're whatever. If you're ice, you're ice. If you're swamp, you're swamp. The dark fruit, we're not going to talk about that because that's entirely different, not my thing. But with the Pika no Mi, you are all those things, but also light. I don't know if we got any physics majors out there, but being able to be light and not have mass being able to move at the speed of light. There is a lot of options and really overpowered abilities just for movement that we have if you have the Glint Glint fruit. On Sabaody, he was able to travel across all the window panes, and I actually loved the animations because his attacks would hit, or he would move, and you would see how long it took for the people to actually react to his attacks versus when he did them. Like when he was going against Drake, he moved in front of him. I don't remember exactly what happened, but he moved and Drake was still looking where he was. And then it took a second and then he looked because he moves the speed of light. It is so overpowered. It is so awesome. I'm acting like a Kizaru fangirl right now, but really, just the ability to become a light human, wow. And you're a Logia, so on top of all of that, imagine having the light Logia in the East Blue. You're unstoppable. You can create light swords, you can shoot out light beams, blind your enemies, and also you're intangible as light. And you can move the speed of light. Wow. Just travel to the moon real quick. Has Kizaru ever been to the moon? I feel like Kizaru should have been to the moon by now. Just a few minutes trip to the sun. And guess what? It won't hurt you because you're light. This fruit is definitely overpowered. I love it. Number 1. Now, if you haven't already guessed it, it is Marco's fruit. The bird fruit model, mythical model, Phoenix. Or the Tori Nomi model, Phoenix. You may have noticed that there weren't any zones on my list besides this one, and that's just because although there's a big power buff and durability buff with turning into animals, there were just a lot of Paramecias and Logias that outweighed it in my personal preferences. I know that a lot of, like, especially becoming a dinosaur, like, that's pretty cool, but it didn't really fit with my personal ideas of what I would want to eat if I was in the One Piece world, if given the options for some of these other fruits. But the Phoenix fruit is my only zone on here, but it is just such an amazing fruit. Ever since its introduction from Marineford, Marco's fruit has always been my number 1 super favorite. If I would eat a devil fruit, that's what I would eat. First, the aesthetics. It's super pretty, the blue fire and the gold kind of like chain flowing off of him. I don't know if that's his personal thing because he kind of has the belt that looks like that. So that might just be a Marco thing. And the face looks kind of weird, but overall, especially his hybrid form, where he just has the wings and then his own body and like the bird claws, that is just pretty. You can fly with this one too, so there you go. You can have big old beautiful wings. We know that there's limitations to his fruit with stamina and everything, but for all intents and purposes, you're basically invincible because bullets don't affect him, slashes don't affect him. Like, there's a lot that he can just instantly heal from. The detail that I'm interested in is, does it hurt as much as it would if you were getting shot? It just immediately heals? Or is it kind of like a magical hand wave where it doesn't even hurt to begin with? It just kind of goes through you and you immediately heal. That's a distinguishing factor, perhaps. I'm gonna hope that it just doesn't hurt, because Marco, when he was flying around, he didn't flinch at all as he was getting tons of bullets through him. And he might just be a hard ass, I'm not gonna deny that possibility, but I'm gonna go with it probably just doesn't hurt him in the first place because it's immediately healed. So overall, that ability in of itself of being able to be immune from bullets and attacks because you can immediately heal from it, that is a super powerful ability. Plus you can fly, and did I mention that it's pretty? It's so pretty. I love the color scheme for it and the blue flames and the phoenix aesthetic and everything. It's so pretty. And then, as if that wasn't enough, he also has healing abilities for other people. We see him on Whitebeard's Island helping the townsfolk. He's a doctor himself, so that's good. So that's useful, but he can enhance people's own healing abilities. It's not as quick and instant as it is if you were to use it on yourself, but you can still be a really efficient healer and support for your crew or whatever you're working for in the One Piece world of your choice. At the end of the day, the Phoenix fruit is a lot of people's top devil fruit of choice, so I don't really have to go into it too much more than what I've already said. I love Marco, but I love his fruit even more. And it would be my favorite fruit to have in the One Piece world, and it would be very powerful too. So that concludes my top 10 list of devil fruits that I would eat if I was in the One Piece world. Thank you again so much for all the new subscribers and all the future new subscribers. It helps out a lot and it means a lot, and it's super cool to see everyone engaging with the videos and just having a lot of fun, because I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I'm glad that other people are as well. I'm making my way up there. Next goal is 1,000 subscribers, which will be a huge milestone, super crazy, but I appreciate every single one. Talking about usefulness, make sure you like the video if you liked anything that I had to say, and comment below on your favorite devil fruits. What's your top favorite devil fruit? If you were in the One Piece world, what would you choose? And I also want to make a disclaimer for Law's fruit, because the only reason that I did not put Law's fruit on the list is because I am not a doctor, and I feel like I just wouldn't be as efficient a user as it could be. Realistically though, I suppose if I had the choice, if the Ape Ape no Mi was in front of me, realistically I'd eat it and then worry about studying medicine for the rest of my life. But I just wanted to put it out there that his fruit is amazing. I love it. I would want it. I just am not a doctor, so it didn't really make the list for that reason alone. But let's be honest, if I had the choice, I would become a doctor. First it would be the fruit, second would be my profession. If I had Law's devil fruit, I would for sure become a doctor. So I guess it's an honorable mention in that case. Special, it's an asterisk. Asterisk next to Law's fruit. If wanted to study medicine for the rest of my life, I would 100% do Law's fruit. But now, I didn't forget, I also wanted to mention briefly my top 5 picks for devil fruits if I were to choose a devil fruit right now in my real mundane, boring life in the world as it is right now. And disclaimer for these choices, I don't want to be a superhero. I just want to live my life as it is, just augmented a bit. So of course I could choose the light fruit, travel to other galaxies, be a superhero, be invincible, because there's not hockey in this world. You would purely be invincible by definition. You would be 100% invincible if you were to choose any of the Logias, but I don't think I would have the ambition to become a superhero for the world. No thanks. So we're gonna go in reverse order, starting with my number 1 pick for daily life. What devil fruit would I choose? And this might be a weird one for some people, but I would choose Kinemon's fruit. The Garb Jutsu, or the Fuko no Mi. This would just be a super cool ability to have, to dress yourself, to not have to buy clothes, to choose any style that you would want. If you're cold, are you cold? Make a sweater for yourself if you're somewhere that you're cold. Are you eating dinner at a restaurant and you're feeling a little chilly? Put a fucking fork on top of your head and now you have a jacket. You don't have a fork, but they can get you more. And his clothing is actual clothing. It's not an illusion, because he used it on Punk Hazard with little rocks on top of your head, and you actually created comfortable, warm clothing for the snowy area. And it only disappears if you take it off or if it gets ruined. The main reason is that you can dress yourself in whatever style you want and you won't have to pay for it, because my attire is directly linked with my finances and I rarely ever buy clothes for myself because I just feel like it's a waste of time. But I love the idea of dressing up, and if I had the money, I would have a completely different style. And so if I had Kinemon's fruit, I could have that style and not have to pay for it. You'd never have to buy clothes again. Are you getting too fat? Doesn't matter, because the clothes that you would make would immediately fit you. Are you losing weight? You don't have to buy a new wardrobe. You have any clothing you want forever. You know, you might be questioned a little bit of like, how do you have such nice clothes, or you're always in different clothes, so you know, you might have to adjust that stuff. But I would love to have Kinemon's fruit because that would just be fun. My next choice is Robin's Hana no Mi, and this for the longest time was my number 1 fruit, but making this list and going down all the things that Kinemon's fruit could do in your everyday life pushed it up to number 1. But the Hana no Mi is my second choice because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm lazy and All I'll say is that I would do a lot more cleaning if I had her fruit, because you can multitask all the time. Telekinesis has always been one of my favorite power ideas. Like, if I were to have a power, would you want to be invisible, telekinesis, or fly? It was always telekinesis. So having hands throw stuff at you, that's close enough. My next one is Tama's Dango Dango fruit, or the Kibi Kibi no Mi. If I had this power in real life, I would be the happiest person in the world, because I would be friends with every squirrel. I could go out into the woods, not have to worry about bears, not have to worry about lions and tigers. You could go to Australia and survive. Because, you know, everything in Australia is out to kill you. I don't know how you guys do it. I've seen the spiders. I don't know. Does it work on spiders? I don't know if I want it to work on spiders. Even if it did, I'd still kill them. If you get like an exotic animal, I know some people have exotic animals in their house already, but having the dango fruit would just give that extra insurance that they don't get a little testy. You know, imagine having a cheetah or a fox. That would be so adorable. And I want a cheetah. I want a baby cheetah, but I don't want it to kill me. I would be a zookeeper. Oh my gosh. Oh my life would be the most famous zookeeper, being able to train every animal in the world. You would be friends with all of the animals and they would love you. I want this fruit. My fourth and fifth choices, though, are a little less like, ooh, I really want that, and more like, oh yeah, that'd be useful. But my fourth choice is the gravity fruit. And now, again, I don't want anything flashy. I don't want to be taken to Area 51 and experimented on because I have these super weird powers. I just want to, like, augment my daily life. So in this case, the gravity fruit would just be useful for day-to-day activities similar to, like, the Hana Hana no Mi. But also, I could pick up stuff, I could pick up furniture because I could just zero gravity and move stuff around, redecorate. I just had to get a new dryer. Imagine being able to just lower the gravity on it and just carry it, you know, like this, just walk around your neighborhood with a dryer on top of you, but it actually only weighs like 5 pounds. I think it would be very useful to be able to pick up something no matter how heavy it is. That's basically narrowed in, that's what this ability would be used for if I were to have it in my life today, is just being able to pick stuff up. But I can also zero gravity, and that's fun. And now my final choice, if I were to have a devil fruit ability in my day-to-day life, would be Brooke's Revive fruit, or the Yomi Yomi no Mi. This is of course Brooke's fruit, and I just think that this would be a handy fruit situationally. This was originally on my fruit list for if I was in the One Piece world, my main top 10 video. But the more I was thinking about it, the more I was like, well, if you don't have the exact situation where you're Brooke and your soul gets lost in a misty fog and doesn't get back to your body until you're already a skeleton and now you have underworld powers, I don't think this would be like the most useful fruit. However, in your day-to-day life, you know, if an accident happens, then you just get a second chance. Car accidents, freak accidents happen all the time, so in that situation, you could get a second chance and not have to die early than you were supposed to, or, you know, however you want to look at that, like that, not to get into such morbid details here, but as long as you're not deathly ill, then this fruit would come in handy a lot. But if you were deathly ill, then you would just you'd die, and then you'd come back, then you'd die again, and that wouldn't be very cool. That wouldn't be fun for yourself or family members. Yeah, well, I didn't mean to end on such a morbid topic here, but that's it! Those are my picks for if I was in the world today, what devil fruit powers I would want to use to augment my daily life. As well as my top 10 devil fruits if I was in the One Piece world, if I was a bounty hunter or revolutionary, something like that. I feel like you'd be a pretty good bounty hunter if you had the phoenix fruit. You're not a renowned pirate, you're still on the marine side, so they're not after you, and then you just clean up the East Blue. You'd be pretty powerful and you'd make a lot of money, so that's my go-to right there. Bounty hunter in the East Blue with the phoenix fruit. The power does not equal your job, but that's the great part of it, is you're just overpowered. Maybe we'll go to paradise, maybe. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video again, and I hope you enjoyed my 5 fruits that I would use in my everyday life. So as well as your top pick, if you were in the One Piece world, what devil fruit would you choose? Also let me know what devil fruit you would choose just in your everyday life. Would you want to become a superhero and save the world and be the center of attention and change the world for the better? Because I mean, realistically, you could probably do a lot of good things with it. So there's not a lot of negatives to being like the light fruit or something like that, because you can just, it depends on how you want to go about it. Do you want to rule the world or do you want to save the world? I feel like it's a fine line. But me personally, I just want to augment my daily life and not be taken to be experimented on by the government. So those were my choices. Let me know yours. Like the video if you liked it, and if you haven't, add on to that subscriber count and subscribe for more anime One Piece content. If you're one of the new subscribers, make sure you check out any of my other videos. I'm doing a manga versus anime series. I do weekly chapter reactions on Twitch, so go follow me over there, and Twitter as well, so you can have a say in any future videos, and I like to get different opinions, so make sure to follow me over there as well. But here we are at the end of the video now. Beppo says hi. Beppo has something on his face, and I'm wearing my law jacket for the occasion. Go on Twitter if you want to see my pictures from my convention that I went to, Otakon, in DC, so feel free to check those out too. But as always, have a great day, follow your dreams, and check me next time. Bye!